Hey, this is B from Kong's Russ, and today we're reviewing the Arcade1Up Infinity Game Table. Now, I've had the IGT for over 2 months now, and was it worth all that money? Or would I have been better off going on an $800 board game spending spree? Well, stay tuned and let's find out. Arcade1Up announced their newest shiny product, the Infinity Game Table, back in October of 2020 through KickStarter. But if you're wondering why one of the most popular home arcade companies used KickStarter to launch their new touchscreen gaming table, it's simple. They were trying to reach that new audience, the board game geek. KickStarter is a known haven for launching hundreds of successful board games, from Exploding Kittens in 2015 to Frosthaven, which has raised over $12 million. So Arcade1Up got something right by launching their 24 and 32-inch Infinity Game Table on Kickstarter, which raised over $1 million with close to 1,500 backers. So being a bit of a board game geek myself, I took a deep look at my board game closet collection and I jumped on the IGT bandwagon pretty hard. So hard that I suckered up and pledged $1,000 for the Founders Club edition, all so that I could get a digital credit and a shiny certificate from the CEO, but more on that later. For baseline reference, Kickstarter had the basic 24-inch IGT for $499 and the 32-inch version for $699. These basic models included 2 removable legs and a power adapter, but for $80 more, you could upgrade to the portable model, which included a battery that supposedly lasted 3 to 5 hours with gameplay. However, none of the Kickstarter backers have even received their batteries yet due to production and shipping delays, and I was initially waiting to even do this review until I got my battery, but Arcade1Up finally fessed up and actually said they won't be shipping into the fall, which was really disappointing. Currently, both basic models are available for sale at Best Buy with a new MSRP of $649 for the 24-inch and $849 for the 32-inch version. Now, both of these prices are $50 more than Arcade1Up's original projected MSRP in the Kickstarter campaign, so those that backed early are seemingly getting a much better bargain, but those portable batteries still aren't available for sale at Best Buy either. If you want to see my full unboxing video and first reactions, check out this video where my entire family had fun exploring the new Infinity Game Table together. Overall, I was initially worried that my outer IGT box had several dents and was going to damage the inside, but after opening it, everything was pristine inside. In terms of accessories and parts, there's not much to get excited about. Besides the main monitor, you get 2 sturdy U-shaped legs that lock securely into place, a 12-volt extension cord which attaches neatly to the sides of one of the legs, a 12-volt 5-amp power supply, 4 card blockers, and plastic feet that attach to them. The biggest disappointment, I say, are these cheap, flimsy, cardboard, wannabe plastic card holders that were included with this Infinity Game Table, because you have an awesome design table and this really cheap looking product to help you hide your Scrabble pieces or your Battleship things. You could use your hands, but I would have really liked to have seen some better quality versions of these. In fact, there's community members that have designed 3D printed versions that look fantastic, so definitely stay on the lookout on Etsy and other places to get replacements, because these definitely don't work that well. In terms of additional accessories, I would have liked to have seen some sort of branded cleaning cloth or something to wipe the table down, because it's a dust and fingerprint magnet and I always have to keep these microfiber cloths lying around to wipe the playfield. And for future accessories, maybe a table cover would be nice, and if you wanted to make it portable, a big TV carrying case would be nice, and I know they sell them for 32-inch TVs, which you can use here, but if you wanted to make it portable, those would be awesome. Now let's talk about the overall design of the Infinity Game Table, which I do have to say looks sleek and gorgeous. With the U-shaped aluminum legs attached, the IGT sits about 22 inches high, and it's a very simple modern look if you're thinking about using it as a coffee table. However, the height of my current coffee table sits at about 16 inches, which makes the IGT somewhat awkward height for a traditional coffee table. It works well if you're sitting down on a couch or a chair, but it's actually not very comfortable when playing sitting on the floor. In order to reach the table and actually move the pieces around, you have to play on your knees, which for some may not be the most comfortable. Then again, you could ditch the legs altogether and put the IGT on your current coffee table or dining room table for that extra versatility. And I definitely like the idea of having functional furniture, so the biggest downside would be hiding that 12-volt power supply, but once you get around that, it actually looks really nice. On the underside of the Infinity Game Table, you'll see several buttons including a power switch, volume buttons, USB ports, a micro SD card slot, a 12-volt port, and a cavity to house the actual portable battery. When powering up for the first time, you'll be prompted to connect to Wi-Fi and create a username, which will be used when you connect with other IGT players via Wi-Fi. The overall user interface is quite simple and very much resembles a modern giant tablet. You have icons on the left for each of the games you've already downloaded, the App Store in the middle, and then advertisements on the right for future games and announcements. Additionally, in the settings menu at the top, you can look at the local Infinity Game Table credits and find yours truly, Kongza Russ, as a Founders Edition member, which helped bring this project to life. It's totally worth the extra $221, right? But wait, there's more. Where was my CEO certificate? Well, turns out they actually emailed it to me about a month later with this lovely PDF certificate that I can print out on my own, and you can see how excited I am to have received it. Wow. Let's move to the main attraction, the main reason why you would get an IGT, the games list. So when you first get your IGT, you'll need to manually download all the available games in the App Store. And when I first got my table in June, there was only 30 games available, but there's been a few additional games added each month. And as of this video to date, there's 35 available games, all included for free. Arcade1Up just released 4 new games this past week, and downloading new games is as simple as tapping the game icon and clicking the Get button. Actual download times may vary, but once you complete, they'll show up on your own games list on the left side in alphabetical order. The game list to date includes Backgammon, Battleship, Candyland, Checkers, Chess, Chutes and Ladders, Color Create, Connect 4, Dots and Boxes, Fling Hockey, Guess Who, Hungry Hungry Hippos, Mahjong Deluxe, Monopoly, Nine Men's Morris, Operation, Othello, Pirate Battle, Puzzle Play, Raceway Grand Prix, Scrabble, Simon, Solitaire, Sorry, Space Tennis, Spider Solitaire, Sudoku Ultimate, Super Word Search, Swish, Tablecloths, Tic-Tac-Toe, Tri-Peak Solitaire, Trivial Pursuit, Whack-A-Moles, What's the Word, and Yahtzee. Arcade1Up supposedly has a monthly release schedule for games that are developed, tested, and then made available for download. They've had a few delays for some announced games, and there were several marquee games promised from the KickStarter campaign that haven't been released yet, like Ticket to Ride, Pandemic, and The Game of Life. Besides the advertisement screen on the right side announcing games, Arcade1Up occasionally announces things on their social media platforms, but I do hope they'll continue to announce when games will be released directly into the table itself for the most efficient communication to owners. One thing to note is that several games actually play in portrait mode instead of landscape, so depending on where you're sitting when launching the games, you may need to move to the side of the table to play. Games like Candyland, Chutes and Ladders, Fling Hockey, and Whack-A-Mole use that portrait mode, so to maximize that playfield, you want to be situated there. Also, when playing multiplayer games, you definitely may need to situate yourself around the table depending on which game icon you choose to play as. The 32-inch monitor boasts 10 different touch points, but still has a bit of delay when dragging items across the screen. While it's not too impactful for games where you're simply moving a tile or an object, it does cause issues for games that have quick reflexes and rely on that movement like Space Tennis, aka Pong, or when you need precise movements like an Operation. Once you account for the delay, the gameplay runs fairly smooth, but I worry about the long-term performance of the touchscreen interface. Also, I really like that each game has its own unique soundtrack playing through the speakers under the table. The sounds lend a unique experience to the gameplay that captures the spirit of game night, so I really enjoy the music. And lastly, several games offer haptic vibrating feedback during gameplays, like when you sink a battleship or when you get buzzed in Simon. It's not too noticeable, and there's options to turn it off if you don't like the feature. Once you launch each game, you'll move into the game's home screen menu and see a play icon, a saved icon, and if the game has online play capability, the connect icon. On the right corner, you'll see a cogwheel icon for the settings menu, and here you can learn how to play the game, learn the game controls, or return to the main IGT dashboard. You can also adjust the audio settings, and several games may have that vibration feature which you can toggle off and on. One of the cooler features is automatic save states that automatically logs your last game played, and you can access the save states from the save icon on the main menu. Once you start a game, some games will feature a game setup menu where you can select your player avatar icon and load additional house rules by clicking on the settings icon. For example, in Battleship, you can turn on salvo mode, which allows a player to fire as many targets as ships as they have left on the board. House rules definitely make the games more exciting, and be sure to check out each game for various options and features. Let's move into one of the biggest features of the Infinity Game Table, online connected play with other IGT users. For a full demo, check out my live stream featuring a few IGT owners and your gaming techie, where we demoed playing a few multiplayer games online. In order to connect to the other users, you first need to add their username in your friends list and then have them accept. Not all games have online connected play features, but for those that do, you'll see that connect icon in the launch menu where you can invite your friends and play. It takes some coordination to play, so I do recommend using third-party video conferencing to enhance your online play experience. One of the best things about the Infinity Game Table is the mass family appeal, where everyone in the family can have some fun with it. My 4-year-old daughter loves the color app called Color Create and really likes that color purple. My 9-year-old son is having a blast learning some of the games like chess and really digs some of the unique games that are developed for the IGT like Pirate Battle and Raceway Grand Prix, and even my parents got into the action playing Mahjong Solitaire. The easy user interface makes it a piece of cake for anyone that wants to jump in and find a game they want to play. It truly feels like a giant tablet, so most people who have ever used a smartphone can immediately feel comfortable with the interface, and each game only takes a few minutes to learn the rules and play. With no additional hardware pieces to set up, the IGT is great for teaching game mechanics to new players, so you can never cheat a game as well. Next, I wanted to test the portability of the Infinity Game Table, so I packed up the legs, threw a blanket over the monitor, and loaded it up into my car. It was super heavy though, so I was afraid of dropping it, and if you do plan on moving this a lot, I highly recommend investing in some sort of large TV carrying bag to protect it while you travel. Next, I headed over to my friend's house to have Cindy and Devin, aka Kid Awesome, test out the IGT. Who are you guys?
Hi, I'm Cindy. And I'm Devin.
What did you like most about the Infinity Gaming Table?
That it let you play games on a screen that you would usually play on, well, a board game.
Awesome. What was your favorite things?
I liked how it was sturdy. It's like a table. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
The design, it's like silver at the bottom. It goes with like most house decor.
I know. Look at this beautiful house. Just talk about functional furniture, right?
I know. That's how I see it.
I know. So he likes the games. You like the functional furniture.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Devin, what was your favorite game on the Infinity Gaming Table?
Well, my favorite game, let's scroll to display, let's see, this game, that game,
Shoots and
that game.
All right, Shoots and Ladders, Monopoly, and Candyland. Classics, very good. How about you, Cindy? What were your favorite games?
I think I liked Monopoly.
You like Monopoly?
Because usually when we play Monopoly, there's all this cash and it's a mess. But on the game, it's already counted and it does everything fairly. It's much faster to play here than in person. There's nobody like giving pieces of stuff, so just all one and done.
Thanks for the genuine, honest feedback, Cindy and Devin, aka Kid Awesome, who has an awesome gaming channel himself, doing some talented gaming like this Geometry Dash. Check it out in the link below. Although my family has been enjoying the Infinity Game Table the last few months, I do have some concerns about the long-term investment of the IGT. At its core, it's essentially a giant tablet running an Android 9 OS system with 2 GB of RAM, and as with any electronic device, there's always an eventual shelf life of the product itself. If you think about it, mainstream touchscreen tablets were first introduced a decade ago with the Gen 1 iPad and the Kindle Fire, but all those Gen 1 devices are extremely obsolete just 10 years later. Will the Infinity Game Table be able to stand the test of time and keep running smoothly 10 years from now? I can only hope so, but at least I'll always have a fancy looking coffee table if it does eventually break down. Alright, so final thoughts on the Infinity Game Table from Arcade1Up. I think it's actually a pretty fun product once you give it a chance. I was a little skeptical at first with all the different games that were here, but after I got into every single game, there's a little bit of charm into every single game that there's something for everybody, from my parents to my kids to my wife. There's something that everybody can find in here to play with, and I'm excited about the store and the future of the games that come with it. Again, there's only 36 games on here at the moment, but I had a blast playing with my family, and the only thing that might be a detractor is the price tag. If you got it at the Kickstarter price, I thought that was a great deal. At the MSRP for the 32-inch at $849 from Best Buy, I would definitely see if we can wait for a sale. If you can get it a little bit cheaper. The only other big concern I have is the longevity of a system like this. Again, this is an Android-based tablet, if you will, and 10 years from now, is this going to be worth it? I don't know. I think this is going to be really good in the next couple of years. I feel like this Gen 1 product may struggle maybe in 5, 6, 7 years from now. So if you're looking for a long-term investment, this probably won't be it. That might be something that you can invest in a board game that will last you a lifetime. So maybe if you're thinking about long-term investment of building a collection, you can do a lot with $800 and buy a really solid board game collection to fill up an entire cabinet of stuff. Or if you're looking for the functional furniture like this and replacing a coffee table, this might be your best bet. But ultimately, it's up to you. You can do a lot with it, and I'm excited for the future of what Arcade1Up can do with this product. So hopefully we'll see you on the online connected play. My name is Kongzarus. You can feel free to add me. Maybe we'll play some games together. If you like this, definitely give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel, and thanks for taking it to the next level. Bye.